Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to do a video that was requested. So it was to compare Hamsah by Swiss Arabia to Elie Saab La Parfum. They're supposed to be dupes. Are they? Are they not? So for me, a dupe means either one and it's the same. There are some fragrances that I kind of did a dupes video on, and for me, they're absolute dupes. They're so similar. Either one works just fine. Now, are these dupes? For me personally, no. That was my first response when that question was brought up to me. Do I think they're dupes? For me, it was like, oh no, they're not. And I based that answer on my personal response to the fragrances. Hamsah, I tried it. I don't like Hamsah. I identified the note that people find enjoyable, but for me, I really just didn't like it. And then the Elie Saab La Parfum, I love it. So I'm like, it cannot be a dupe if I have very different responses to these two fragrances. But since the question was brought up, and today I was like, well, I'm like, huh. I see what people say it's a dupe. So let's start first with the notes, and then I'll let you know kind of my thoughts about them. And like I said, they're not far from each other. No. So to say that they're dupes is not a bad statement. It's not a wrong statement. But there is a difference, and for me at least personally, it's a significant difference. But let's begin. So Hamsah by Swiss Arabia, the notes. At the top you have orange blossom. At the middle you have gardenia, mandarin orange. And in the base you have honey, vetiver, and rose. So compared to the Elie Saab at the opening that has the African orange flower, so we're still with the orange blossom basically. And the heart, this one has jasmine instead of gardenia. I think it's the gardenia that I'm not a fan of. Just saying. And then in the heart, both of them have honey and both of them have rose. This one also has patchouli, and this one has cedar when the Hamsah has vetiver. So the orange blossom is very similar in both. So that note is very similar. I do prefer it in here. What makes me love this and not like the Hamsah? Now, let me first note that this fragrance is by no means a young fragrance, sparkly, light, young. It is very not. That's why for me it's very feminine. It's very mature feminine. But for me, this one is like 40s, 50s, yeah, 60s, but it's definitely mature fragrance. The undertone that you potentially can get from it, or at least I do, but in the best way possible, is something vintagey. So vintage. Vintage is not the same as old. Old is old. Vintage is old but good. You know, it gets better with time. For me, Hamsah is old. It's either the Elie Saab La Parfum that's sat there for 20 years old, or an old woman, and not in terms of age, but in terms of just old, being old. It's old. It's not in a good way. It kind of, that scent associates with me with like the older ladies that were standing in the market, in the shuk, yelling, you know, like, like 1 kilo of tomatoes for, it's just, I can't. No, I can't. So for me, Hamsah is a big miss. Like, I get it. I get what people love. And again, it could be my nose, it can be my environment, it could be my skin that just doesn't translate that fragrance into what I have here. Maybe somewhere else on somebody else, they literally do smell very much the same. But in my universe, personal mine, They are different on those levels. The other element is, for me, Hamsah doesn't perform. It doesn't last, it doesn't project. I don't smell it, which I guess if it's not a fragrance you enjoy, you kind of are, that's a good thing. You can smell it. But this one, I sprayed this on myself 3-4 hours ago. I can still really smell it. So the performance of this one is very, very strong. Plus the dry down, that vintagey or more sophisticated, more mature element kind of comes down, and more of the orange blossom comes up. And the sophistication, it's that honey and patchouli and the cedar. So that's what kind of, it gives it that more heaviness element to it. For me, the Hamsah just misses it in it just, honestly, it really takes one note to make it or break it, and that's how it is for me. They are similar, I get it. I would not call them a dupe, because for me it makes a difference which one I'm using. If it's at the scent, if it's in the performance, if it's in my personal pleasure, which for me, I love the Elie Saab, and I really don't like Hamsah. I tried it, and I just like, I get, it's like, it's the same with Casablanca. I understand what about it, those notes that people love, but because it has so much more than just that, it makes me dislike it. And that's the same with Hamsah. I understand the elements that people enjoy, but the full combination and the presentation of that scent, I can't. Here it's the best part of Hamsah, amplified, projected, and it got rid of all of the stuff that I don't like. They're very close. And I will say this: if you have Hamsah, if you love Hamsah, you need to try this, because it's better. It's significantly better, and it performs better. If you love Hamsah, you will adore this. And I got this one on Fragrance Net. It's a tester bottle, and it came with a cap and everything. Just has a little sticker that says tester, basically, for $40-something. And this is the big boy. This is the full size, the big size. So in terms of price, you're not saving. Honestly, you're not really saving buying it from Swiss Arabia. On their website, it's completely not cheap. So if you're buying it on a different website, you're pretty much paying the same price as the Elie Saab. But the Elie Saab is significantly better. It's even denser. The floral is more potent. The honey is more dense. Everything is so much more voluptuous and present and giving and feminine, and just and it skips the old section of that Hamsah has. I'm sorry, I tried, I literally did. But that's my opinion. So I would say they are very similar. They are not dupes in my opinion, and in my opinion, the Elie Saab is significantly better. But if you love Hamsah, you're gonna go gaga over this one. It's much more potent on the good parts of Hamsah. This is not a light fragrance. This is not a light fragrance. This is not a child's fragrance. This is not a girl in her 20s. No, I don't see a girl in her 20s. I don't care how sophisticated or confident you are. This is not for, no. Sorry. Yeah, not happening. No. Her mom, yes, definitely. But no. So that's my opinion. Take it or leave it. Like I said, they are very similar, but not similar enough to be dupes. And the Elie Saab wins. It's definitely not, based on notes and based on reviews that I heard about Elie Saab, I did not expect it to smell the way it does. I thought it's going to be sparkly, light, more late 20s, 30s, orange blossom. I have an orange tree. I know how orange blossom smells. I have actually 3 citrus different trees. This is not, no, this is very different. It's not sparkling. There's nothing sparkling about it. There's nothing youthful or, free-spirited kind of thing. Yeah, but it's beautiful. I really like it. All right, so that's it for my comparison to Hamsah and the Elie Saab. I hope it made sense. They are very similar, but they're very different. One is old, the other one is more vintage, but low in the vintage and just very mature versus old. That's how I interpret them. All right, guys. Well, thank you for joining. Do subscribe. Till next time. Bye, guys.